All right, so is this the big news that people have been waiting for? And I've been talking about this for a long time, that whistleblowers are actually going to start getting protection, UAP whistleblowers. Well, there's an exclusive report that says that President Trump has dropped the NDAs that says, hey, you can't talk about this stuff. Whistleblowers can talk about this stuff, apparently. I'm gonna read what it says on this report, and then we'll kind of break it down. So check this. An exclusive here. This is Fox News Politics. President Trump has directed the Department of War and Intelligence community to waive non-disclosure agreements for former government employees and contractors who want to cooperate with federal UAP investigators. The directive follows years of complaints from lawmakers and whistleblowers that people with firsthand knowledge were too afraid to talk. New tranche of UAP files is expected very soon. This was posted yesterday. So again, more articles saying this basically says that they can speak with Arrow and pursue task force without fear of violating their non-disclosure agreements. This removes one of the biggest structural barriers that kept insiders silent for decades. Again, is this a turning point in the UAP conversation? If the reports are accurate, President Trump has directed federal agencies to waive certain non-disclosure agreements for former government employees. So I like this breakdown here. President Trump has directed federal agencies to waive certain non-disclosure agreements as former government employees and defense contractors who are going to want to talk to UAP investigators. What it means, that's the main thing. It removes a major barrier for potential witnesses who want to cooperate with official UAP investigations. It applies to former government employees and defense contractors working with federal agencies, encourages more information to come forward through authorized channels, not through the media, does not automatically declassify information or allow public release of classified material. All right, what does this mean, like, overall? Look, I mean, in theory, this is a great thing if that's the case. What it does is it calls a potential bluff, right? If it is indeed true. So remember, the one that I always bring forward is saying during that hearing in 2024, when they asked Lukatsky, they're like, hey, listen, are you going to testify? He's like, no, I got these NDAs. I got these things that I'm going to lose all my benefits. There's no benefit to me doing this. And the repercussions are just too vast. I can't do it. Well, if this happens where they say, you're okay, come talk to us. And then you say to Lukatsky, hey, listen, so come talk to us. And he still says no. Well, the first thing you're going to have to ask to follow that up, and I'm just using him as an example, but the first thing you do when you follow it up is, well, why? Why won't you talk to us? Well, because even though this is protected, this isn't. And if that isn't it, everything should be protected. You know, I'm still skeptical when it says, well, they can talk to Arrow. And maybe I just have a sour taste in my mouth from what Kirkpatrick did over there and the way that he ran things over there. Because I think that it was Luna who said, she was calling for the defunding of Arrow at one point, but I think she said that, or a few people have said now, that the person running Arrow is definitely more credible and I guess more helpful than previous regimes prior to this one. So if this is indeed the case, and not just using Lukatsky, if whistleblowers can now come forward and not worry about these repercussions that have been there for so long, and that a majority of people have not wanted to speak up because of that fear, I'm going to play what I always play here in the positive and the negative side of things. The positive side of things, what you would hope to happen is, okay, well, clearly there's a portion now, the higher portion wants to get the information out there. The barriers have been laid down. We can get in and we can speak about this stuff, and I'm going to let my voice be heard. Can I have a guarantee that I'm safe? Can I have a guarantee that my pension is safe? Can I have a guarantee that this and that? Put those deals together before you do, and maybe that there's just a handful of people, because the way it works with these floodgates kind of opening up is that a whistleblower come through, someone they worked with, someone else that they worked with said, oh, he's speaking, she's speaking, I'm speaking. Great. Everybody else is now talking now. I'm going to talk now too. We all feel protected. Yeah. Look, they said they were going to do this for me. They did. I'm in. So maybe that's indeed the case, and that's what's going to happen. And as they follow up in that report, the other side of it, which is very important, is that there's more files coming. So is that kind of a lead up? Did they know that? Has this been a part of the overall plan, knowing we'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there, or is this the constant pursuing of this happening as Burleson has been trying to do and said that he's been trying to do and said he's been in talks to try to do. And even recently, Burchett is out there touting in the fact that this administration will be the disclosure administration. So this is a major point. The negative side, again, is that if these things, first of all, one of the negative sides could be that if maybe there's a caveat that you can do this, but you really can't say that, and yeah, you're protected here, but it's still, if you speak, this could happen to you. Or the other negative side of it is, like I said, all these things are in play, and people are just so either nervous or still scared about it, or maybe they just wanted to elevate stories somewhere. So or some of them were BS, and they don't want to come forward. They want to talk to, like they said, media, podcasts, other things, but they don't want to do it to the proper channels. Now that the proper channels are open, that's when you're going to say, hey, it's time for you to talk now, because there's been many, many people who've said, yes, we want to speak. We want to speak to Arrow. We want to speak here. We want to do that. So let's see if it actually happens and if it all goes down, because this is and could be monumental. If the most positive side, the most optimistic side of the way I want to look at it is this is open now. These things are gone that have been there for so long. And now that these, almost what Ryan Graves had done for like the pilots that were seeing things that they could speak. Now these people can speak. And now if there's another hearing now, this would be the time to have it. If they do have these NDAs gone and these people can come forward and say everything that they need to say and can say, and the right amount of stuff that they can say publicly, then this is the time to do another hearing. But this could be massive. I think it is going to be big. Like I said, I always like to go both the optimistic side and the pessimistic side of things, but I think we're going to land on the optimistic side of things with this one. I think there's going to be more people coming forward now if this does hold true. What do you think? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Is this big news, or is this much ado about nothing? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. As always, thank you for being here. I always appreciate you. Make sure you click like, comment, subscribe, all that and more, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye. We spend a lot of time looking at things that we just can't explain, but some of the most unexplained phenomenon happen a lot closer to home, and that's inside your head. A thought can appear out of nowhere. It's something dark, disturbing, completely out of character. You didn't ask for it. You don't want it. And no matter what you try to do to get rid of it, it just keeps coming back. For millions of people, that experience is not just anxiety or a bad day. It can actually be OCD. It's not the organizing stereotype. Real OCD, it's persistent, it's unwanted, intrusive thoughts that feel totally out of character, along with mental or physical behaviors you feel driven to get relief. These thoughts can feel very real, which is what makes them so upsetting. But it doesn't have to be that way, because OCD, it's highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy. OCD needs ERP or exposure and responsive prevention, which is proven to be the most effective treatment. And that's where NoCD comes in. NoCD is the world's leading provider of OCD treatment, and it's covered by insurance for over 138 million Americans. All their licensed therapists specialize in ERP therapy and will help you learn to take the power away from intrusive thoughts in live, face-to-face virtual sessions. They also provide support between sessions when you need it the most, so you're never facing OCD alone. If any of this sounds familiar, visit NOCD.com to book a free 15-minute call. That is NOCD.com. NoCD. Make sure you go and check it out.